Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome into Sports Extra and happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. But we have no time to waste because this was an insane day for the Atlanta Hawks. Let's get right into it and let me direct your attention to this. The Hawks getting the #1 overall pick in the NBA draft lottery. So we're bringing in the young lady who knows the Hawks the best, my good friend, Lauren Williams. Hello, Lauren. She works for the AJC and does a lovely job. And Lauren, this was insane for the Hawks. What was your first reaction when you found out they were going to be picking first?
Honestly, I think my reaction started way before we found out they were even picking first. I think my body started shaking when we found out that, they would bypass even having to worry about picking 10th and jumped right into the top 4. And yeah, I was shocked. I honestly was so shocked because I think a lot of us, we know what kind of luck the Hawks are used to. The basketball gods don't usually smile down upon them. And this year, the basketball gods certainly had a present for them on this Mother's Day.
Okay, so they did get the #1 overall pick. It is a present indeed because this can change franchises, as we know. But how did the Hawks get here, Lauren? Break it down for the people that don't know.
Yeah, Maria, I think it started with the fact that they ended this season 36-46. I mean, not what people had anticipated this team would be producing this year. I mean, we remember at Media Day, DeJounte Murray talking about them being top 4 or better, and they were definitely not top 4 or better, and they ended up losing those last 3 or 4 games of the regular season. When Trae Young returned, they got eliminated from the play-in tournament by the Bulls. It was just a rough season overall for the Hawks, particularly dealing with all of the injuries that they had to the front court. You have Jalen Johnson going down and Onyeka Okongwu missing basically the last half of the season with the left big toe sprain, and there's just a lot that they had to recover from. But as you mentioned, having the #1 overall pick can be franchise changing. I know a lot of people don't necessarily, have a lot of good things to say about whether this draft class has some star power or not, but we know that doesn't necessarily matter. We've seen it before, like the 2020 draft, where there wasn't necessarily a consensus overall pick, and then you have Anthony Edwards taking off this year. So it really can be life-changing for franchise. It's just a matter of how the team develops that first overall pick and, how they're able to grow into their talent.
Okay, you mentioned it. The talent pool's a little wonky this year in this draft. So what could the Hawks do at 1? Because there's not really a clear #1 overall pick this year.
Exactly. There isn't. So, of course, they have a lot of options as far as whether they want to package it into a trade and move down in the draft. They can keep that first overall pick and have a pick of their poison with whoever it is that they've done their homework on, who will fit this team long term. We talked about the lack of front court depth that this team has. There are about 3 big men projected to go in the top 3 this year. So they have a lot of options ahead of them. I think the big thing that they're going to have to focus on is just making sure that this person that they pick is going to be a fit for this team long term, because they don't have a lot of draft picks in their future. I mean, you look at next year's draft, they're relying on whether or not they get that Sacramento pick that's supposed to be conveyed at some point. If they don't get it next year, it turns into a second-round pick. They don't have a second-round pick in this year's draft. They don't have a first-round pick in the 2027 draft. They have the pick swap in 2026. So it's just a lot of mess kind of going on when it comes to the Hawks and their draft future. So I think they really do have to do their due diligence and make sure they're making the most that they can out of this pick.
And Lauren, certainly this is a franchise that needs to make some changes and make them immediately. Thank you for your time.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.